Uh, and I'm gonna tag everyone. Moment we go live.
Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All they wanna say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All they wanna say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let I be me instead of playing games. For chasing fame, let somebody sweat the lack of flames. No, living my life to the fullest, man. Shout out my halala to the fullest. Let my lungs out. I'm still rising up to greater heights. As long as
Hello, bonjour, Sanbanani. Welcome to Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. It is so significant to have a positive mindset, more especially under these circumstances. So this network has the potential to completely revolutionize every aspect of your life and career. My name is Dr. Riel Ngunene, and I'm going to be your host for today. So if you're watching us online, please feel free to put in the chat box where you're watching us from and what you hope to achieve from our podcast. Today, we are surrounded by greatness in the World Wide Web. We have amazing speakers who's going to share some nuggets on human rights. So in Peru, we have Dr. George Torres. And in Mexico, we have Dr. Nutzia Seminario. And in Brazil, we have Priscilla Caneparo. So at this moment, I'll just let our speakers to introduce themselves. So you can go ahead, Dr. George. You're muted. We can't hear you.
Okay.
There you go.
Very honored and grateful to Rise to Greater Heights and Swati Canadian International and the Dr. Nompunilelo Real Kunene. How are you? I'm very happy and honored and grateful to be able to participate in this important event. Tell you I am characterized by having a great sense of humor, professional fulfillment, and overcoming challenge, but this is that not prevent me from having my hobbies, which I practice and enjoy very much, such as going to the gym, the sauna, bath, singing, dancing, swimming, writing, researching. Regarding the exercise, I practice them on weekends. That's last two almost every day. Thank you very much.
Wow, it's such a great honor to have you, Dr. George, and I'm looking forward to hear more of your message, really. Thank you for being with us today. You can go ahead. Priscilla, I've realized that you also hold the PhD. So do you go by Dr. Priscilla? I'm so sorry about that. Do you go by Dr. Priscilla?
Hi, I'm Priscilla. I'm PhD in human rights and also international law. I'm professor from Federal University from Paraná, south of Brazil. I'm also delegate from World Trade Organization and Economic and Social Council of United Nations. I'm a researcher in human rights and also international law. I'm a runner, I'm a mother, and that's all. And I'm also a lawyer, international lawyer. I'm working in migration law and also in refugee law. That's me. And human trafficking, of course, for combat the human traffic.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. It's such a great honor to have you, Priscilla. Really, you are wearing many different hats. And yes, it's an honor to have you. You can go ahead, Nutzia, and introduce yourself, please.
Good morning to everyone. I am deeply honored and thrilled to be here to be a speaker in this academic event. Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Vidal Quinones, to this kind invitation. My name is Nutzia Seminario. I am Peruvian, but I live in Mexico. I moved throughout pandemic time because of opportunities of course. I am a lawyer with expertise in human rights and disabled human rights law as well. I hold a master's degree in education and another one in defense and human rights. And currently I am working as a professor at university in a Catholic University of Católica Sede Sapiente in Lima, Peru. And I'm deeply happy to be here. Thank you very much. And just to introduce myself a little bit, what I'm going to do during my leisure activities, I am playing with my cat. And I am as well watching some crime series and eating pizza as well.
I love that. Wow, it's such a great honor to have you, Nutzia. And I know, like, when we speak of human rights, it's quite a sensitive subject that someone can cover. So we always have a disclaimer. Here at Rise to Greater Heights Network, we're only here to provide information about human rights to the public. So legal information is not the same as legal advice as to the application of law to an individual's specific circumstances. So we can never, never, ever offer any legal advice in response to specific questions. So if you're watching us online today, we strongly recommend that you consult a lawyer if you need such help. So Dr. George, I have a question for you. If you happen to have your own billboard, I can see your billboard coming down there in the busy highway in Peru. What will your billboard say?
About the publicity network.
Mm-hmm.
Can you repeat, please?
Yes, what I'm saying, I'm saying that if you happen to have your own billboard, like your billboard, what will your billboard say?
The cartel, definitely the same. One will say passion, prominence, excellence. Do you want to reach the maximum levels? This is the place we are waiting for you.
Wow, I love it. I love it. It's all about passion, really. Just follow your passion in everything that you do. I love it. I love it. How about you, Priscilla? Maybe your billboard is already down there in the busy highway in Brazil. What will it say?
No way. I have no idea. Just kidding. I'm thinking that I was going to say that I'm very thankful and very happy to be there. And also I would be thankful for my family and for the efforts that they made to be there for me. And also say that I would give that prize to all humans that are in vulnerability, and that you have to believe in yourself, but also you have to press the state to give your rights. That's my speech. If I were a premium prize.
I love it. I love it. You know, it's all about surrounding yourself with people who care for you. Really, family is just my top priority. I love it. I love it. How about you, Notia? What will your billboard say? Maybe it's already, I don't know where your billboard is going to be. Is it going to be in Peru? Is it going to be in Mexico? What will it
I
say?
think that I will say that, for example, actually it's a deep question, but I will say that in Mexico. Thank you very much to everyone to be here. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to my family who make me nudge every day to become a better person, to be a good above, and as well to go to great lengths. And as well, I want to mention that as people around over the world, not only Mexico, we need to promote equality and non-discrimination, especially when talking about vulnerability people. I think that we need to be aware of what's happening around over the world in the discrimination. And of course, as everyone society should be respect and should promote tolerance to this group, a vulnerability group. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Wow. I love it. I love all of the billboards, by the way. Like your billboard, Nitsia, is mainly based on human rights, really. It's all about respect. Show respect to anyone that you come across. It doesn't matter where that person was born, or maybe what kind of family they belong to, or maybe what kind of job they are doing. Respect that individual. Just respect. I love it. I love it. So I believe my billboard will be the fourth billboard driving down the highway. And you know what? It's going to say what? The sky is no longer the limit, but now the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. And you know what? It's definitely coming. It's definitely coming. So we're going to get started. We're going to get started where we have Dr. George Isaac Torres Manrique. He's the Dean of the Faculty of Law at Wisdom University. He received an honorary doctorate in international law. He also earned a doctorate in law and administration from Universidad Nacional Federico Villarreal in Peru. I hope I said it right. I was trying to practice my Spanish, so I hope it didn't disappoint. So Dr. Manrique is the president of the Interdisciplinary School of Fundamental Rights, Preeminencia Justicia in Peru. He is also the author, co-author, and director of many, more than 90 books and treatises on constitutional, criminal, and administrative law. And those books are published in more than 15 countries. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Dr. George Manrique.
Thanks. I talk about how to prevent bullying in this opportunity. Parents, school personnel, and other concerned adults have a role to play in bullying prevention. They can first help children understand bullying, explain what the bullying is and how to deal with it safely. Tell children that bullying is unacceptable. Make sure children know how to get help. Children who know what bullying is can identify it better. They can talk about bullying if it happens to them and others. Children need to know ways to deal safety with bullying and how to get help. Encourage children to talk to a trusted adult if they are builder of see other or begin building. The adult can provide comfort, support, and advice even if he or she cannot solve the trouble directly. Encourage the child to report building situations if they happen. Talk about how to deal with children while bully. Provide tips such as using humor and saying a note in a direct and confident manner. They talk what to do if that doesn't work, such as walking away. talk about strategies to protect themselves, such as saying close to adults and another group of children. Encourage them to help children who are bullying by showing kindness and willingness to cooperate. Second, keep lines of communication open. That to children on a regular basis, listen to them, get to know their friends, ask them about school, and understand their concerns. Research shows that children turn to their parents and current caregivers for advice and help before making difficult decisions, sometimes spending 15 minutes a day talking can show children that they can talk to their parents if they have a trouble, start conversation about the feelings and daily life with questions like this. What was good today? Did something bad happen? What's lunchtime like at your school? What do you sit with? What do you talk about? What is like to ride the school bus? What do you excel at? What do you like most about yourself? Talking about bullying directly is an important step and understand how this issue might be affecting children. There are not right or wrong answers to these questions, but it is important that you encourage children to answer them honestly. Remind children that they are not alone in dealing with any troubles that may arise. Start conversations about bullying with questions like this. What is bullying to you? Describe what children who bullying are like. Why do you think people bully? Who are the adults you trust most to talk to about issues like bullying? Who are ever afraid to go to school because you were afraid of being bullied? It was ways did you try to change the situation? Then, what do you think parents can do to help stop bullying? Have you or your friends left other children out on purpose? Do you think that was bullying? Why or you? Why not? What do you usually do when you witness a bullying situation? Do you see kids at the school being bullied by others? How does it make you feel? How you ever tried to help someone who was being bullied? What happened? What could you do if the same thing happened again? Get more ideas for talking to kids. If concern arise, to be sure respond. There are some simple ways for parents and encourage to keep and where their children lives, breathe, the exercises and talking about them at home. Encourage children to do what today that they love. Special activities, interests, and hobbies can boost confidence, help children make friends, and protect them from bullying. Help children participate in activities, interests, and hobbies they enjoy. Children can volunteer, play sports, sing in a chore, on a young group or school club. These activities allow children to have fun and meet others with the same interests. They can build confidence and generate friendships that help protect children from bullying. Finally, model how to treat others with kindness and respect. Children learn from the example of adults by treating others with kindness and respect adults show children that there is no place for bullying, even then when they don't seem to be paying attention. Children here now, adults handle stress and conflict and how they treat their friends, colleagues, and family members. Thank you very much.
You're mute, Dr.
You're muted.
We cannot hear you.
Dr. Rio, you're muted.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Dr. George. I know sometimes this unmute yourself. It's not so loyal. What I was saying that you've shared everything around bullying prevention. We'll have to speak up around bullying, because bullying can actually cause serious harm if it's not being addressed right away. And you know, individuals may sometimes experience like physical symptoms, even like social isolation, or maybe like increased difficulty with school achievement if it's not being addressed. So it's high time we go out there, we address bullying, more especially like even in the workplace, we experience bullying. Schools, in our communities, we experience bullying, because when bullying behavior leads to toxic stress, it can negatively impact a child's developing brain. And as a result, it can result in social, emotional difficulties for that child. So it's really high time we address bullying. We address bullying, because bullying behaviors, they are always learned. It's not like someone was born being a bully. You always learn from it, and it shouldn't be considered like, you know, the normal part of growing up. So we need intervention. We need intervention against bullying behaviors. Thank you so much, Dr. George, for such a profound, much needed message.
Thank you very
so
much.
So now from Peru to Brazil. In Brazil, I was still trying to edit your bio. Please forgive me. We have Dr. Priscila Caniparo. She holds a PhD in international law, which is PUC-SP. She's also a professor of the postgraduate program in governance, technology, and innovation from Universidade Católica de Brasilia. She's also a professor of the postgraduate program in law at Umbra University. Dr. Priscila is a coordinator of the International Law Clinic, UniCuritiba. She's also a professor of law and international relations in UniCuritiba, professor at the Federal University of Paraná, UFPR. Priscila is also a member of the Brazilian Academy of International Law, as well as being a member of the International Law Commission, which is the OABPR. She's also a member and a researcher of Red Derecho America Latina y Caribe. Wow. She's a member of many organizations, as well as being one of the diplomacy delegates to the World Trade Organization and to the Economic and Social Council with the United Nations. So she's also an author of many books, including International Lawyer. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Priscila Caniparo.
Thank you so much. I'm very honored to be here, especially with my friend Professor George, and nice to meet you, Nucha. And then I'm gonna say about human rights as a violation of I'm gonna talk about human trafficking as a violation of human rights. And first of all, we have to ask, what is human trafficking specifically? Human trafficking is a series of crimes and serious violations of human rights. Almost every country in the world is affected by human trafficking. There is a convention to work with this issue. The convention is called Convention Against transnational organized crime, and also implemented by its additional protocol on the prevention, suppression, and punishment of trafficking persons, especially women and children, the called Palermo Protocol. First of all, we have to understand the goals of human trafficking. So the goals is prevent, protect, and promote cooperation between states to end the human trafficking by the Palermo Protocol. Second, what is the act of human trafficking? So the act is one of these: recruit, transport, transfer, accommodation, and also help the people which one is living outside the country, but also by the means of human trafficking. These are the acts that can be seen as human trafficking. And then we have the how the acts are doing for human trafficking. So we have, first of all, resorting to the threats or use of force, then coercion, then abduction, then fraud, then abuse of power or vulnerability, and also guarantee of payments and or benefits. And then we have the purpose, because why the person is exploited by human trafficking. First of all, that we must know is prostitution and sexual exploitation. Second, forced labor and service. Third, slavery or similar practice. And then servitude or removal of organs. These are the main contexts of the human trafficking by the Palermo Protocol. And then we have what are the 5 measures provided for in the Palermo Protocol? First, it must be noted that the statute states its sovereignty in directing its policies to combat human trafficking. But the protocol encourages cooperation among them, aiming to exchange of information and training, information exchange, reinforce the training of agents of the competent service. Second, measures at borders, reinforce the necessary border controls to prevent and detect human trafficking. And third, of course, adequacy to the refugee statute. What does it mean? It means that we have to consolidate the principle of non-refoulement also to the trafficking. And what are the most identifiable forms of human trafficking? Sexual exploitation, of course, is the most common form identified in 79% of human trafficking, followed by the forced labor by 18%. Other forms are domestic servitude, forced marriage, organ removal, and also exploitation of children in begging, sex trade, and war. What are the types of industries involved in human trafficking? The majority of trafficked forced labor affects people working in informal economy with irregular jobs or in a situation of migration. A irregular situation of migration. The most frequently documented sectors are agriculture or horticulture, construction, clothing and textile, food, restaurants, domestic work, and of course, the sex industry. Human trafficking, we have to know that also affects other very important economic sectors as well as food, processing, health, cleaning, public sector, and specifically provision of health sector service because of the human trafficking, the human trafficking of human organs. And then to end my speech, we have what are the biggest challenges facing the battle against human trafficking? First, the search for precise information, which makes it possible to glimpse the true face of the phenomenon. This is the first challenge. The second one is sometimes human trafficking is just one activity in an extensive and sophisticated international criminal network. So we have to see all these networks to know how to combat effectively the human trafficking. Third, states should give top priority and focus to the crime of international human trafficking, as well as being thinking about consolidation of human rights. As we combat human trafficking, we are consolidation human rights. And fourth, we have to consideration needs to be given to the type of action that can be used to raise awareness of human trafficking and take action to prevent trafficking at its source. We don't have to combat effectively to help the people that have been trafficking, but we have to see where are the traffickers specifically to combat the human trafficking. And then we have, of course, there must be a more holistic approach and partnership in tracking the problem. Government agencies, non-government organizations, international organizations, communities, collectives, and etc., must work together to combat human trafficking. Thank you all to hear me. I know this is a huge thematic, but I think we must discuss in another opportunity also human trafficking. Thank you so much.
Oh, wow, Priscilla, thank you so much for sharing more, like your wisdom around human trafficking, really, because this world, it has become a brewing pot of traffickers. They are just taking control of individuals, and usually, like people being trafficked into slavery, they are being closely watched. I'm gonna talk from the side of the travel and tourism, how it's been really violated. So you will find that traffickers really, they watch over the person being trafficked, or even like that person being trafficked, they speak like they've been kind of coached, and you can tell by seeing that this person is traveling with this person, but they are not related, they are not even friends, and the trafficker is more confident than the person that he's traveling with. So the person being trafficked, they will show like signs of dependence on the abuser. So this world is such a broken world, but we shouldn't be try to be heroes when we spot signs like this, maybe at the airport, maybe at the hotels. Don't try to be a hero and try to save that person, but just report it immediately. Immediately report what you see. Thank you so much, Priscilla, for sharing such a profound, much needed message. So now we are going to Mexico, where we have Nutia Seminario Hurtado. Nutia Seminario Hurtado is a lawyer with an expertise in human rights law. She holds a master's degree in education and another one in defense of human rights. She has been qualified as a researcher by the National Council of Science, Technology, and Innovation Technology in Peru. Currently, she is working as a professor at the Sapienza Catholic University, and she's also a legal advisor on topics related to disabled people as well as indigenous people's law. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Nutia Seminario Hurtado.
Thanks for having me. I am deeply honored, as I mentioned before, and today I'm going to talk about disabled human rights. But before talking about this interesting topic, I need to point out about the definition and about the history to disabled people. When we're talking about disabled people with disabilities, we must note that this includes those who have long-term physical, mental, intellectual, or sensory impairments. and which in interaction with a society, it's not the best because there are barriers. When I'm talking about barriers, I mean, I want to emphasize that we're talking about inequality treatment, unfair situation, discrimination, and vulnerability of human rights. So those barriers may hinder their full and effective participation in society on an unequal basis with others. So this is nowadays the main definition of people with disabilities. But I need to emphasize, of course, about the history of disabled people, because this problem, this trouble didn't happen throughout this century. It happened before, during the ancient time, for example. For example, we have in Egypt and as well in Sparta and in Greece, there were people who were born with disabilities, and automatically people from Greece and from Egypt as well at the time, we're talking about ancient periods, decided to kill babies that they were born with disability, because at the time people strongly believed that the worship of beauty and physical perfection is not for people who had a disability at the time. So unfortunately, people from those countries, for those state, commit a lot of infanticides and murders. And of course, people that were mature people and that acquire and that get this disability throughout their life, unfortunately, they were abandoned as well. And we're talking about as well in middle age, unfortunately, as well, disabled people were mistreated. You know that they were considered as a deformed or abnormal, or as well as a defective people. And of course, they were exhibited in circus or zoos. So they were victims of rejection. And of course, they were victims as well of persecution by religious and civil authorities. They were mistreated, and they had a lot of kind of discrimination due to impunity and due to unfair treatments and unfair situations. Throughout the Industrial Revolution, for example, people believed at the time that disability was understood as a kind of inability. You know, they couldn't be afloat, they couldn't generate profit, they couldn't work because they had this kind of disability. And at the time, we know, of course, that at the time they had promoted human rights and everything, but according to this period, Industrial Revolution, most of the more important people believe that disabled people were not cataloged as employees. They didn't receive equal and treat in the workplace, and they didn't respect the human rights, unfortunately. The last century, for example, there were a lot of social movements, and that definition and the concept of disability, of people with disability, had changed a lot. There is an academic research, an academic debate about this concept, this definition of disabled. For example, one of the most popular authors, and I want to mention, is Professor Kumar Sen. He wrote a lot of kind of books, and he's very famous around over the world because he implemented this theory that the rights and capabilities should be implemented and should be mixed, which means that people, he calls this notion of capability are the real freedom that people have achieved their potential doing some means. Real freedoms, we're talking about in this sense, means that when you have the requirements necessary to achieve. So this author, Kumar Sen, published a lot of kind of books regarding this topic. For example, one of the most famous book is Rights and Capability, that was published throughout 1984. And as well, there are another kind of books that he published as a Commodities and Capability, that was published as well in 1987. So at that time, they tried to implement and to change this mind that, for example, a person with disability, it's a person that is ill, and unfortunately at that time, for example, they cannot survive, they cannot reach. So this author have changed this meaning of capability, this change of disabled people with disabilities. So the main objective to this author was to avoid the injustice, unfair situations, and he refers to promote and try to understand the pivotal role that plays the pivotal role of the people with disabilities, that they are freedom, that they need to promote justice, promote equity, and of course trying to prevent any kind of matter that can affect the human development. And about this definition, we need to move to nowadays to the 21st century. Nowadays, for example, people with disability are not recognized as ill and unwell people. They are recognized with this social model that people are with disabilities. I mean, they are free, they can do a lot of kind of activities. However, those barriers, I'm talking about discrimination, unfair situations, those mistreat in society, they're not by the empowerment or difference. Unfortunately, they cannot promote, they cannot access to human right, fundamental right, because there is that kind of empowerment that hinder, especially when talking about social models, impact those consequences of disability and are experienced at the individual, family, and community level as well. This includes poverty, for example, issues of access as well, and social exclusion. So before talking about it, I just made a little bit introduction about history, about definition. I mentioned this author that I consider it's important because plays a pivotal role in the definition and in the construction of disabled people. I want to talk about just a little bit in 30 seconds about the United Convention of the Rights of Disabled People, because this international convention has that scope to promote, of course, to protect and to ensure the full and equal enjoyment of all human rights to disabled people. This international convention plays a pivotal role in the society around the world. And of course, there are parties and there are states that are parties of this international treatment. Peru is one of them, Mexico as well Brazil. So this international convention of the rights of these people with disability have been adopted in 2006. And the main principle, for example, of this convention are to promote or to guarantee as well opportunities, to promote the principle of non-discrimination, to try to understand the participation and inclusion that should be implemented in the society, and of course, equality of opportunity and accessibility. So I consider that it's important to talk about it because nowadays disabled people are mistreated, unfortunately. And there are not countries that are not implemented public policies with human rights approach. There are not legal framework. If there are not complete, unfortunately, because there are not resources. Despite having money, they have having resources. They don't want, unfortunately, try to implement or try to enhance this public service in order to guarantee, of course, the human rights of disabled people. Thank you very much.
Wow. Okay. Yes, can you hear me? Yeah, now I think I'm unmuted. Wow, you've shared more knowledge, that things that you should be aware around the differently abled individuals. I always call them differently able because there is no disability in there. It means that they are in a way than we normally do. The discrimination against them, the way you've just mentioned everything. Wow. Thank you so much, Nitsia, for sharing such a profound message around the differently able people. We need advocates like you who will just speak up for those individuals who are so voiceless, the way they've been viewed by society, the way they've been judged by society. We need more advocates like yourself. Thank you so much, Nitsia. Wow, I believe our audience, I'm just looking at the comments here, our audience have been really moved. They've been really inspired. I can see Mariah watching, Annalie watching, and Evelyn, she's saying yes. Mariah is saying that we all have we all have equal rights. I can see Tela watching, Sebe watching. Our audience have been really, really inspired. So to our audience online, if you happen to have any questions today for Dr. George, if you happen to have any questions today for Nutia, if you have happen to have any questions for Priscilla, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat box, and then we're gonna attend to your questions at the end of the podcast. So what I'm gonna do right now, it's not gonna be a show without me showing up. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be the next and final speaker, but before I speak, let me see if I can, let me just first remove this. Let me see if I can share my bio with you, and then I will come back and speak. Okay, let me share my bio now. Okay, please enjoy, come back and speak. I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals, to put this down. Rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights, because you need to be clear about your career goals in order for you to gain guidance on professional development. Really, my goal as a mentor or as a coach, it's so simple. My goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs and other potential obstacles that you might be facing, and then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to pursue success and drive sustainable. I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Riel and Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. Mom. So I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Riel and Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights.
Dr. Nampumelelo Rial Kunene is an international human rights policy analyst who consults on policies and procedures related to human rights compliance. She is a highly sought-after, energetic, certified Lace Brown international speaker. This passionate leader holds a PhD with a discipline in leadership and business. Dr. Rial N. Kunene is the author and host to Rise to Greater Heights, a book and YouTube channel to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. She is also a coach, mentor, and an MC, well known for encouraging many to rise from mediocrity into greatness. Her vision is not only to motivate, but also to empower audiences with a fresh perspective inspiration they require to pursue success and drive sustainable outcomes. In a seriously funny way, Dr. Kunene is an award-winning author, 10 times #1 Amazon and international best-selling author. Her #1 best-selling book, Rise to Greater Heights, has inspired and empowered many to pursue their personal and professional passion to become go-getters. As a trainer, diplomacy protocol officer, and strategist, Rial believes that we are in full control of our choices. Her mission is to meet the needs and transform lives of her clients and her audience. She is also a true advocate for creating new policies that uphold human rights and prevent human rights violations. Dr. Kunene's purpose is to teach everyone about human rights and help organizations understand and promote human rights. Her goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs, then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. This change maker, trailblazer, and revolutionary is pushing boundaries and creating a real change worldwide. Like a phoenix that never accepted defeat and rose from its own ashes, she wants to challenge you to unleash your greatness and rise to greater heights. Dr. Rial N. Kunene wears many hats. As a professional certified sales manager, CEO, certified travel counselor, publisher, medical esthetician, philanthropist, and a commissioner for oaths, following her dreams gave her purpose to see her goals through and understand that she does have everything she needs to reach her full potential. Her everyday message is that your journey to be a better person starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core will make you understand that you are the only one who can accomplish your dreams. Hebrews 11, Psalms 27 and 40 keeps her to rise to greater heights. The sky is no longer the limit, but now the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Kings and queens, please join me. Welcome, Dr. Rial Nkunene.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Amazing speakers. Really, you've just said I remember Dr. George, he mentioned everything around bullying prevention. How can we actually stop bullying schools? How can we just do that? And Priscilla on the other side, she mentioned everything around human trafficking. How can we spot and report human trafficking everywhere that we go? And then Nutia on the other side, she was like, you know what, it's high time we speak up for the differently abled individuals, because they have a right like every one of us here. So what's going to be your excuse today for not learning, for not gaining more knowledge around human rights in all the aspects that have been covered today? So I'm going to get started, but before I get started, I just want to find out from you what comes into your mind when you hear the word human rights. What comes into your mind? You can just put in the chat box. I will come back and check and see if you know more about human rights, because human rights, let me just mute someone here. Yes, because human rights are the fundamental rights and freedoms that are inherent to all human beings, regardless of your gender, nationality, place of residence, sex, ethnicity, religion, or even your skin color. So human rights are not just about the law. So human rights are non-discriminatory, meaning that all human beings are entitled to them, and you can never, ever be excluded from your own human rights. Good people, you really don't have to see the whole staircase in life to get to the top, but you need to take the first step to get to the top. As my mentor always say, that you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to become great in life. So get started today. My everyday book, it says that you have to learn to do good, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, and plead the widow's cause. So get started today. Do good, seek justice, correct oppression where it needs to be corrected, because we are all in this together. We are all here to make a difference. We are all here to uplift many spirits out there. So get started today, because I believe that we all have a voice, but not everyone knows how to use their voices. So as an advocate for human rights, what I do, I encourage change makers and educate them in the issues at hand so that their voices can be heard too. So I work with the individuals in charge, listening very closely before I start calling out issues that needs change, really. So I serve not just as a vocal protester, but I just go one step further by encouraging these changes through education instead of like merely telling government leaders why something needs fixing, which happens quite frequently, really. So that's the reason why I am here today. I am here to share my knowledge around human rights. I am here to share my nuggets on human rights. So it's a wake-up call, good people. It's a wake-up call. Seek your passion. Get familiar about your human rights. It's a wake-up call, but when that alarm clock goes off, please don't ever hit the snooze button. Don't be like, I'll wake up in the next 2 minutes. I'll wake up in the next 4 minutes. You know what? Forever is a long time. Why don't you wake up, get going, and get more information about your human rights so that you will know when your human rights have been violated, really. So our organization, it fills a critical role in society by providing valuable services that governments may not always be able to deliver, from poverty relief to human rights advocacy. Really, we are vital for supporting the most vulnerable members of our communities. So we are an integral part of society, and we are kind of involved like globally in human rights, climate change, and humanitarian aid, because there are many ways. I believe that there are many ways in which we need to persuade the government to adopt human rights related legislation, really. Some of them, it includes like providing information to the general public through exhibits, like side events, or maybe formal speeches, or perhaps like in lobbying officials, maybe like during meetings as well as negotiations. And this is when diplomacy and protocol steps in, really, because you'll have to balance human rights with diplomacy. You can't just have one and then ignore the other one, because if you can please write it down, diplomacy and protocol, because diplomacy and protocol, it scrutinizes the manners of global relations using the ability and discretion in dealing with others on an international scope. So it is quite indispensable in today's universal economy, because being conscious of societal etiquettes and the practice of upright conduct on a daily basis, it will enable you to be more effective in almost all business activities that you do out there and in any social situation. So diplomacy is a skill that plays an essential role in many areas of our lives, just with a generous amount of patience for you to be able to work towards understanding others' views. So protocol is also a significant part of diplomatic practice to ensure that roles are being directed according to the official societal laws. So I recently published a book. I recently published this book, which is Diplomacy and Protocol. It's been published like last week or the other week. It's been published, not so long ago. This book, it covers like the vital basics of practices that simplify international communication, and it will definitely give you practical insights that will expand your efficiency in the wide range of settings. So go out there, good people, and get the book on Amazon. Anywhere on your Amazon, you can get the Diplomacy and Protocol, which covers everything on international relations. As flight attendants always say, that put on your oxygen mask first before you assist the person next to you, because if you don't, you and the other person, the person you are trying to help, could possibly go down. Trust me, when that flight goes down, you will definitely go down if you are not wearing that oxygen mask first. So it's high time, put on that oxygen mask first to yourself before you help your neighbor, because the reality is your journey to be a better person, it starts with you. It doesn't start with your spouse. It doesn't start with your children. It doesn't start with your neighbor. It starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core, it will make you understand that you have everything around you to reach to your full potential. So don't ever give up on your heart's desires. Just recall this, just recall this, just in case you can't find the way. You can have the drive within you to become what you really want in life. I am a firm believer of affirmations. So we're going to affirm this. We're going to affirm this by placing your, which hand is this? Your left hand on your chest and raise your right hand. We're going to affirm this. Place your left hand on your chest and raise your right hand and say, I can have the drive within me to become what I really want in life. Can you say it one more time as if you have faith in your own powerful voice? And guess what? It will echo throughout the whole universe. Say, I can have the drive within me to become what I really want in life. Yes, you can have the drive within you. Just give yourself a random applause, because the drive is inside of you. You can achieve anything where you put your mindset in. You can have it. It's so funny how my mom and dad gave me this beautiful, beautiful name, Nompumelelo. I know many, when they try to say my name, they always butcher my name. But Nompumelelo, really, in my own language, it means mother of all success. So you can see that I am really, really challenged to chase after success. No matter what comes my way, I'll have to chase after success. So if I may ask you, how many of you have dreams and goals that you want to achieve? Maybe, let me say, in the next 6 months. I know myself, I am one of those people. So I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals, to put this down. Rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights, because you need to be clear about your career goals in order for you to gain guidance on professional development. So as a human rights analyst, really, my purpose is so simple. My purpose is to teach everyone about human rights and to help as many organizations as I can for them to understand and promote human rights, because I also make a difference by bringing solutions and educating others. So you'll have to remember that a right is a freedom of some kind. It doesn't matter where we were born or what kind of family we were born into. We all have the internal recognition of the moral quality of one's motives and actions. It was Nelson Mandela who once said, to deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. to deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. And trust me, this message did something within me, really, because I am a true advocate for creating new policies that uphold human rights and prevent human rights violations from even happening in the first place. So what I do, I consult on policies and procedures related to human rights compliance, and then advise on best practices for implementing human rights programs. And I can also help and assist with audits of operations against international standards. I do research and help draft human rights related policies, such as discrimination at work, harassment at work, diversity and inclusion, as well as patients' rights, and many, many more human rights related policies, really, because I believe that I have a duty of raising awareness of people's rights and providing solutions. I believe that an essential thing in human rights is based on the principle of respect for the individual. Each individual deserves respect, no matter what they do or who they are. They just deserve that respect from whosoever they come across. I so wish that you can just tell yourself that, you know what, I've had enough. I've heard everything about my human rights. So I'll have to go out there and make a difference and be the change that I want to see in this world. But in order for you to go out there and make a difference in your community, be the change that you want to see in this world, you've got to be hungry. You've got to be hungry like the hungry lion in the jungle. Really, that hungry lion in the jungle, it doesn't matter what kind of animal comes his way. It doesn't matter if you're the giant elephant or that small squirrel by the jungle. All that hungry lion sees in front of his face is lunch. And it's so funny though, because even with elephants, when they see a lion, what they do is that they run. It's all about the mindset. Once you believe, you become. They already told themselves that, you know what, I am a lunch to that lion. So each and every time when I say lion, I'll have to run. I believe that's the lion mindset that we need in order for us to be advocates for the voiceless, for the ones who can stand, who can speak up for themselves. That's the lion mindset that we need in order for us to make this world a better place. Because I believe that we all rise together, and we rise by lifting each other up, and we're gonna rise to greater heights. We're only here to fix each other's crown. As queens, we'll have to fix each other's crown. We're not here to tear anyone down. We're not here to step on another person to get to the top, but we're only here to make a world of difference, to impact as many lives as we can, as long as we live. You know, it's so funny. When I was in the 8th grade, I was nicknamed Phoenix. I was nicknamed Phoenix after writing a composition using the idiomatic expression that says, I rose from the ashes like a phoenix, meaning I became successful again. Really, that English teacher, she didn't know that the nickname Phoenix, it resonates with me. And it also aligns with my destiny. So for those of you who don't know the phoenix bird, the phoenix is a Greek mythological bird believed to rise from its own ashes after being buried like hundreds of years ago. This immortal creature acquires new life by rising from the ashes of its own ancestor, which represents our capacity for vision and success. So I just want to encourage you, if you're watching and listening under my voice today, I just want to encourage you that when your world comes crashing down, wear your scars to show how a phoenix feels like to die from inside, and trust in your own capability to rise from your own ashes. Since the phoenix has to die, burn, experience pain before resurrection from its own ashes. Please write this down in conclusion. Resilience to greatness. Resilience to greatness. And I know you've heard this before, that your setback is your setup for your comeback. Your setback is your setup for your comeback. So if I can be honest with you, I don't know what goals you've set for the next 6 months. I don't know what dreams you have for your own future, but here is one thing I know about you. You are destined for greatness. Inside of you, God has put seeds of excellence. Those seeds are supposed to grow and flourish. But many people have become crippled by their past encounters, and some have stepped over other people to get to the top. But I believe that with God, we're all destined for greatness as long as we follow his strategy. This is when the growth commences, because discovering your gift and following God's idea, it will make you understand that you have everything around you to reach to your full potential. My everyday inspiration, Mr. Les Brown, he once said, if you had to die today, at this very moment, at this hour, what dreams, what ideas, what visions, what goals, what skills, what talents, and what books will die with you? And the late Dr. Miles Monroe continued saying that the richest place on this planet is the cemetery, because that's where all the dreams, all the visions, all the goals, all the skills have been buried. Honestly, I don't know about you, but with me listening to all these amazing messages from these motivational speakers, really, it gave me sleepless nights. And right now I am on a mission. I am on a mission to rise to greater heights with as many motivated professionals, motivated individuals as much as I can, because, you know, I believe that I have everything around me to reach my full potential. So this year, if you are that individual, if you're a public speaker, if you're an author, if you're a coach, an entrepreneur, or a motivated professional, really, who wants to multiply your income just by doing what you truly love in life, really, maybe you just want to get highly booked, get highly paid as an author, as a speaker. Perhaps you just want to write and publish your #1 best-selling book within 90 days. Maybe you just want to sign like paid coaching clients, really. This message is for you. Go out there on my website and book that free consultation call. It's a free consultation call, no obligation or nothing. So that we can kind of, you know, we'll have to evaluate if you're a perfect match for my program. And it's on my website, www.risetogreaterheights.com, because I really want to empower you to become highly effective and an inspiring leader with a kind of personalized, measurable, but a scalable program. So go out there and book that call. I also have a free masterclass that is coming up. It's a masterclass that is coming up on how to write and publish your bestseller book. So in this masterclass, I will show you the 3 super easy ways that you can take to write and publish your bestseller book in 90 days. And I will also guide you on how you can actually, on the simple systems that drive traffic and sales as well as revenue. And then I will give you a blueprint to use your book to get more speaking engagements out there. And yes, it comes with a guarantee. It comes with a guarantee. So I offer this free, no obligation, 30 minutes friendly Zoom call so that I find out if you are a perfect fit for my program. Go out there, good people, and book that call with me. And I also have an amazing opportunity for those who want to grow and scale their businesses. If you want to grow and scale your business, I've also designed a boot camp to ensure your success. It's definitely going to happen. So in this boot camp, what I will share all the secrets. I will share all the secrets on how I've actually elevated my brand, on how I elevated my business. And then I will show you the smart way to skyrocket your income, because at the end of the day, you'll have to evolve. You'll have to skyrocket your income. And then I will give you the keys to unlock freedom to live a balanced life, because my ultimate goal is that you feel extremely confident about your purpose. So we'll take it one day at a time, one step at a time, and you are definitely going to transform. So if you give me your why, I will show you the how. So this consultation offers accountability, education, growth, as well as success. And you might ask yourself, why am I really doing this? Why are you doing this at this time? You know why? It's because I've been there. I've done that. And many of us have been there, really. And we know how it feels like, you know, to have all these brilliant ideas, but you don't have any tried and true strategy to run with it. So 5 years ago, I was also lost in the hustle. I was exhausted. I was overwhelmed. So I remember I had a ton of ideas, but there was no tried and true strategy to run with my ideas. So it was only when I invested in coaching, and then I began, you know, I created my first premium offer, and things started to change. And then I built an income generating business, doing what I really love and making a real impact out there. So now it's your turn, good people, kings and queens. It's your turn to build your wealth. The power is just inside of you. So book that free consultation call with me. Just give yourself a second chance. Give yourself a second chance to start your business, to grow your business, to scale your business, because the power is just inside of you. It's inside of you. So yeah, go out there. But I only work with motivated individuals. So if you're not that motivated individual, please don't even bother to book that call because you're gonna be a problem. Just book that call when you know yourself, you're a motivated individual, you're just ready to skyrocket your income. So book that call, because growing up, really, I didn't have much in life because my father decided to have an early departure from this planet Earth. And I thank God that I missed that flight, because I'm still here, I'm still sharing my message, I'm still impacting as many lives as I can, because I had everything because of my mama's love. And I love you, love you, love you so much, Mom. So I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Riel and Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Thank you so much, amazing speakers. So at this moment, please feel free to share with the audience. If you have any freebie that you want to share with the audience, that call that you want them to book with you, please feel free to share with the audience, as well as how they can reach out to you, how they can work with you. And remember to also share your final thoughts on human rights. So Dr. George, the stage is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. Very honored, Associate Doctor. And as to new opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. George. You can go ahead, Priscilla, and share with the audience, please.
Thank you so much for having me here. It was an honor, and I'm very grateful for being around so important people. And I also want to answer that it is very difficult for the audience about the question, what is possible to do to prevent human trafficking. And it is very difficult to stop trafficking, mainly because the states don't have a way to share data. Don't have like the same system to share, to collect, and to share data. And it is the very main point of the difficulty of human trafficking. And also another problem is that we have outdated data in relation to trafficking. And finally, there are many people with power involved in this practice. It is undeniable. And the idea is that international organizations must comply an effective cooperation between the states so that we can start to see a solution for trafficking. But we also need to make the population aware of the needs not to be deceived and end up being trafficking. So it is a long way, but it is not an impossible one. So thank you once again to have me here. It was a pleasure.
Oh, wow. It's such a great honor to have you, Dr. Priscilla, on our platform. And I believe that our audience have been really, really inspired from your message. Thank you. You can go ahead, Nutzia, and share with the audience, please.
Yes, of course. I want to share I have my own website. I'm going to share here, and maybe you can contact me there. And I want to conclude this presentation. As you mentioned before, Professor Riel, it's important that states, for example, should complete this general obligation that we have according to international relationship and international treatments. Of course, each state, of course, according to my topic that is disabled people, each state should undertake and should ensure and promote the full realization of human rights. But how? We have here the answer. For example, they should implement legal frameworks, appropriate legal frameworks with human rights approach. For example, appropriate legislative, administrative, and other measures. And of course, try to promote human rights for disabled people. And I consider as well that society plays a pivotal role in developing disabled human rights, because, for example, society can't promote respect, tolerance, and the communication. I consider that society have a wider implication in this situation in order to reduce discrimination for disabled people. And of course, I consider that if we are talking about disabled people, I consider as well we need to talk about what is the type of communication that they have. For example, deaf community have that sign language, and there are some countries, unfortunately, that did not implement this kind of interpreter and a necessity that we have. So my guess about all of this is that the society need to acquire knowledge. We need to understand that we need to respect and we need to promote human rights of disabled people. And of course, we need to be aware and conscious, as I mentioned before. We have this impact. We can change the world. It's, of course, it's obligation of the government. It's mandatory according to international treatment, of course, because you mentioned about diplomacy. However, of course, society, we are this change. We can defend, we can promote, we can ensure, and we can reduce discrimination around over the world to disabled people. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much, Nutia. And thank you to all of you amazing speakers. Really, we don't take your time here with us at Rise to Greater Heights Network for granted. I know we're all busy people, and just for you to spare that 90 minutes to be with us here today, it means the world. So thank you so much. And for your knowledge, for your wisdom that you've shared in this platform, we really don't take it for granted. So thank you to our amazing speakers. And to our amazing audience online, oh my goodness, I hope from all these amazing messages from all these amazing professors, really you've been inspired, you've been motivated, and you are ready to rise to greater heights. Please feel free to share, to reach out to all of these amazing speakers, to Dr. George, to Dr. Nutia, and to Dr. Priscilla. Please feel free to reach out to all these amazing individuals. They are all in the low industry, in the law firm. So go out there and reach out to them if you just need a direction around that area. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, amazing speakers. So to all our viewers online, thank you so much for joining us here at Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. I hope from all these amazing messages, from all these amazing speakers, you've been inspired, you've been motivated, and you are ready to rise to greater heights. So do join us next week at the same time, same place. Thank you. Merci. Sia Bonga.
Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All they wanna say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All they wanna say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let I be me instead of playing games. For chasing fame, let somebody sweat the lack of flames. No, living my life to the fullest, and shout out my halala to the fullest. Let my lungs out. I'm still rising up to greater heights as long as